Good evening for those of you seeing this not live. Hope you are well. Welcome to Stretch and Flex this evening or for the week. I have just mentioned to the live people, of course, they can unmute themselves if there are any questions, or you can email me, of course, when you are watching this. I'm going to focus a little bit on hamstrings this evening because they are tight no matter whether you're running or not running, which either way they are tight. So a little bit focused there. Obviously, we'll do a full body as well. Right, so let's make a start, everyone. Hopefully everyone will be able to see me. I won't change the camera too much. So if we can start standing up, and then I just want you to give your legs a little jiggle. So you're seeing this from the side, just give them a little wriggle and just wake them up a bit. So just for the purposes of those of you who aren't so aware, and you don't necessarily need to be in any way, hamstrings are a set of muscles on both legs which are here. So they start about here, just underneath your bum, and then they come down to here and they attach into the back of your knee. So there are more than one hamstring set, and they are back here. So they do tend to get very, very tight very, very easily, but they are actually quite stretchy. So you can stretch them out. Probably one of the easier muscles to stretch out, actually, muscle sets. So we're going to start coming down, and I'm actually going to I'm going to move around so you can see what I'm doing, but obviously you don't need to move around as much as I am. Hip width apart with your legs, hands onto the front of your legs, chin to chest, and then we're going to start rolling it down. So we will do some relaxation stuff today, but I want to start a tiny bit more active this evening. So dropping your head down, and just first of all, just give your back a little wriggle, give your arms a little wriggle. And just roll your head slightly and just really, really relax down. Okay. Oh, nice deep breath. Now, with your legs relatively straight, so I don't want them locked out. So Amy, just be aware of this, darling, because you're hypermobile. Just bring your knees just straight, and you should feel that right down the back here, particularly there. So we're just trying to relax that first. Now, whilst you're down here, you stay where you are. I'm just going to turn so you can see how far out I'm going. I want you to wriggle your feet out. So out enough that you can actually put your hands down. So that's going to be different for everyone. But we will make sure that you've got that correct. So hands nice and flat on the floor if you're able to. And then what we're going to start doing is just rocking very, very, very gently forwards and backwards, and I do mean gently. So if you stay where you are, I'm going to turn again so you can see what I'm doing. Hands in front of you, and then you're going to rock. Tracy, my love, just be aware of your wrists on this one. Not too much pressure on the wrists. So when you're rocking forwards, you'll feel that wrists and shoulders, and then when you're rocking backwards, you're feeling that right down those hamstrings. So let's try that again. So rocking forwards nice and gently, and then edging yourself backwards, and basically try and stick your bum out. You can't go too far because you'll fall, but you'll feel the point as to which your hands might decide to lift. Let's not go any further than that. Now, as you're rocking forwards and backwards, you can just exaggerate it a little bit more. So just being aware of what weight your wrists can take this evening. And then coming right forwards and sit backwards. Now this is actually the start of some gymnastics conditioning, so we're not going to go to the full kit and caboodle, don't worry. Bring yourself to the center. Right, now we're going to exaggerate that slightly by bringing yourself up onto your toes. So we're going to lift the heels, coming forwards, and lift the heels off the floor. Okay, and then you're going to sit them back and try to exaggerate that as much as possible. And if you want to bring your head down, you should feel that stronger. So it's quite a strong one. Lift up, and then bring it down and sit backwards. And again, up, lift, bringing it down and sit back. Wonderful. Let's go for one more. Hopefully wrists are okay on this one. Lift and back. Relax. Lovely. Okay, back to center. and I want you to bring those feet in. Okay, just enough for hip width apart, and then you're going to relax again. Now you should feel that they are a tiny, tiny bit more loose. They should feel more loose at the end of the session, but they should still feel a tiny bit now. Right, so bend your knees and bring yourself down into a little ball. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to crawl our way out, and we're going to come onto all fours. The second one that I want to do for hamstrings is it actually gets your calves as well. So put one knee forwards, and then this is a really, really good one for the runners. So one leg straight, hands a little bit further away from you, and then we're going to push back. Now, if you're on a particularly slippery surface, that's not going to be quite so easy, but just try and grip a little bit, and then we're pushing that back. Bringing it forwards, and again, it's that forwards and backwards rock. Just be aware that your foot can cramp on this. So if it's something like, oh God, that's going to cramp, just obviously stop and just roll your foot out. But push back. Now that is very, very strong down the back of your leg, but in particular your calf. That will get your hamstring as well, nice and strong. And one more. Push it back. Or push. Okay, we're bringing that knee in, and we're going to do a little tiny dog wag. What's that? Little doggy wag. Okay, bring that back to center, and then we're going to bring your second leg back. So first knee in, second leg back, straighten it, tuck your toes under, and push. So just relax those shoulders, push back, and rock it forwards nice and gently, release, and then push back again. Very, very likely that even if you haven't been running, they are quite tight, and one side's usually tighter than the other. This one's definitely tighter on this side. Oh. And let's go for two more. So push forwards and really try and push that back. And one more, release and push. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Okay, so our next move is we're going to go up into a downward dog position. So I'm just going to tuck that in before it goes completely wrong. So we're on the floor, tuck your toes under, and then we're going to curl and then lift into our downward dog. So again, to a certain extent similar, but it's slightly different angles, so it should get it slightly differently. So let's start by just pushing back and just sort of maneuvering ourselves into the correct position to this. And then we're going to cycle. So push back and bend one knee and straighten one leg. And you should be able to get quite a strong stretch down on one side and then the other. Again, if you're on a slippery surface, just be aware your feet slipping. That's it. Push and push. Good. Okay, stopping that and push backwards. If you can't reach the floor with your heels, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you can feel that stretch. 3, 2, and 1. Bring it up onto your toes and then back down. If you really start to struggle and your shoulders, it's all a bit too much, you just come down and then bring yourself back up when you're ready. Lifting up and back down. Push, up, squeeze, and release. And let's go for one more. Up, push back, and your last one, you're coming down onto all fours. Oh, that's a strong stretch, that one. Lovely. Right, okay, whilst we're here, very good opportunity to do a nice cat and cow. Now, I want to start just with a little normal cat and cow, and then we're going to add a breathing technique into this one this evening. Tracy, if you need to just wriggle, by the way, your wrist. So the breathing technique actually isn't that easy, but we can have a go and then just we can build on it in the future and just see how you feel about it. So first of all, we're just going to come up nice and gently, just normal cats and cows. Curl Sorry, the top I'm wearing this evening isn't exactly the easiest to see that with, but you're going to curve up and then sink down and just work your way through just a few nice little simple cats and cows. Oh, sorry guys, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, put my head upside down for a few seconds and I'm sneezing, for goodness sake. And all the way up and through and release. And let's go one more, wherever you are, just finishing off the one that you're doing. All the way up and release. Lovely. Okay, just go back to neutral for a second. I'll just explain the breathing part. So on the way up, you're going to come up and then you're going to breathe. And what you should feel is that around the back of your ribs. So it's actually your intercostal muscles that are just breathing out and getting a stretch and then breathing back in. So you're going to stay up. So wind your way up and then breathe in and out, in through your nose, up to your mouth and stay up there. And again. That's it, roll it through. Not the easiest. Hopefully you've got that. We'll definitely try it again. Now this one's a little bit harder. So you're going to sink down. And what else I have to explain? What I want you to feel like is if your tummy is a balloon and it's basically expanding and contracting. So it should be feeling like a little balloon. Not the easiest to explain, but once you're down there, breathe in and expand and relax. Hopefully you've got that. Breathe in. Expand the tummy like a balloon. Let's try one more time. Breathe in. Lovely. If you've got that, you can't really see what I'm doing because of the top, but hopefully you got that. So let's try that again. So bringing it all the way up. And once you're up the top, a couple of deep breaths. Bring it through to center. So feel all of those muscles relaxing out and then sink it down. This is the harder one, so breathe out like a balloon. Breathe out. And back up to center. If you manage that, very, very well done. If you're still like, not sure, we'll practice that one in the future. Okay, so going back to our hamstrings, I just want you to push away from the floor. It's been a long day. Push away from the floor, and then we're going to bring one foot forward. Now, two things that we're going to do with this one. One is for your hip flexors, and one is for your hamstrings. So you're going to straighten your leg, and I don't want you to bow over. You're going to hinge. So there's a hip hinge. Okay, so we're here. Don't put too much pressure on that knee because it will just hyperextend it. So just a little bit higher, or if you can, you're bringing it down to the floor, but I don't want that. Okay, you need to keep your back fairly straight. So wherever you are, as long as your back's straight, you should feel that really swiftly right down the hamstring there. Or if you can't go down that low without bending your back, you're up here, but don't hold on to your knee. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, if you want to go more advanced, you're just taking that foot, again, just make sure it doesn't cramp. And really pull that in. That should be a very, very strong stretch there. Hamstrings going, oh my God, there we go. Just remember to stick your bum right out. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Right, let's counterbalance that. So we're going to bend the knee and then sink forwards into our lizards. Put your hands to the side of your foot, and then we're going to sink down our usual lovely relaxing lizard. So your leg may come to the side a little bit. Your knee might want to come out. That's no problem, just as long as your foot doesn't leave the floor. Relax, relax, relax. Sink down. And again, if you want to exaggerate this further, I mean, it's fairly strong as it is. You can tuck your toe under and straighten your leg. Personally, I don't find that very comfortable, but it's completely up to you. That will exaggerate it. Sinking it down. Right, nice and gently, just curl yourself out of that and then push your hands away from the floor. And then we're going to swap legs. And remember, we're going to do the other one first. So straighten your leg first. So get your balance. Oh dear, balance. And then we're going to hinge and drop your hands over here, okay? So whatever it is, back straight. I'll just turn so you can see that a little bit better. Back straight, okay? Not that. Nice and straight. Looking forwards, feel that right at the back. So whatever you're doing, you can see my foot's upright, okay? It's not here. That doesn't really work. You've got to flex your foot. And again, if you want to do the more advanced, you are holding on to that. Now I have just, my foot's just cramped here an hour ago, so I'm going to be careful with that one. God knows why. Holding it here. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Okay, release that. Should be a very strong stretch there. We're going to bend the knee forward and we're going to come forward into, oh, that's it. Down into that lizard. Relax. Now, again, as a reminder, you can make that stronger by coming up if you want to. Only if you want to, because that is really strong. Bring your knee out if you want to. Relax those shoulders. Very likely to be far too tight. Okay, fantastic. Right, roll yourself out of that and just push your hands away from the floor. Bring your leg round. Okay, so a few more that we're going to do. If you want to just nice and elegantly spin yourself around, I will just move this down so you can see me a bit better. There you go. Okay, so taking one leg straight and one knee bent, we're just going to roll down nice and gently. And we're bringing that knee in. Okay, so again, just getting that hip flexor before we start getting the hamstring again. So again, this should be, if your knee is quite sore, generally or today, you can actually just bring that behind your leg. Okay, you can get a very, very good stretch without any pressure going onto your knee. But if your knee is absolutely fine this evening or generally, then you can just hold on. Sink that down. Right, the hamstring works. So if you want to bring your foot up, so it's on the floor, and then you're going to shoot the leg up that you've got, and then bring your hand back round. So a couple of ways of doing this. This way, where you're holding, and try and keep your leg as straight as possible. And even Amy, actually, you can really straighten your leg because there's no pressure on it. You're upside down. Or if you're like, no, we're good, you just let go, and then you're going to independently keep it there, which actually makes your muscles work harder. So if you're really, really struggling to keep that up 90 degrees and flex your foot, then just hold on to it. If you're really struggling with that, to even keep your legs straight, of course, it remains bent. As long as you can feel a stretch there, because everyone's flexibility is different, just your judgment call on that, and even if it's down here, that's fine, as long as you're feeling a stretch. If you can, though, go all the way up, your leg, your foot flexed, and you're up at 90. Now, you should feel a teeny little wobble there. If you've got that right, that's fairly strong, that one. Holding it here. Deep breath in, just relax your shoulders. Let it stretch, let it do its thing. Now, if you, again, you're feeling it, but you're like, not that bad, then you're going to actually hold on to your foot. So that's the more advanced version. That is really quite strong. But don't hold on to it if you have to lift up, okay? If you want to, you're going to advance it that way. Okay, wherever we are, we're letting go and just bring that foot down and just relax it. Oh, right. Good old hamstring stretch, this one. Right, so we're shooting the other leg up and we're here or we're here, wherever you are, or we let go, and then you're going to flex the foot wherever you are. So just try to relax into this. Again, it's always a bit tight at first, and it should release a bit. Holding it here. And if you'd like to go into the more advanced one, and taking hold of that toe. Just making sure you can leave your head on the floor when you're doing that. Just try to relax everything else. It kind of tenses up. Just relax. And 3, 2, and 1. Release wherever you are, and then you're bringing that down. Right, just give everything a little wriggle. Okay, right, teeny tiny engagement of your core, and then we're going to do a little bit more advanced on that one. So tilt your pelvis under, take a deep breath in, and then you're going to just engage the core just gently. So deep breath in and engage. You should still be able to breathe, but that should just feel a little bit harder down the bottom there. Okay, so you're going to shoot one leg up. Another deep breath in, out breath, shoot the other leg up. Okay, so we're going to start with them upright. Again, if you're like, oh, I can't, just bend them slightly and hold on to them. Okay, if you can, you're straightening them and letting go. Now we're going to add in that flex. So this should feel sort of like you're just about to walk onto the ceiling. It's quite an odd feeling. But again, this is a very strong way of stretching right at the back of your legs. Now, again, if you've got this right and you're right upright, it might be a little bit shaky. Not too bad, but just a tiny bit shaky. So don't be surprised in that. You've got your feet hip width apart. And again, if you want to advance that, you're going to take hold of both feet. Try really hard to keep your bum on the floor. So if you're having to do that, I'd rather you let go. Keep your bum on the floor and hold on. For goodness sake, don't do this if you can't, or you have to do that, because that's completely unlocked your hamstrings. You've got to keep your legs straight to do this one. Okay, release where you have, and then we're going to slowly bring those legs down and reach the floor. Lovely. Okay. Right, hamstrings, very much big tick. Should be feeling really quite stretched out now. There's quite a few different ways of doing that. So even if you do a couple of them before and after a walk or a longer walk or a run, they should do the trick really nicely. So let's have a little look at that back now. So if you just want to put one foot on your knee and just create that triangle, hand right out to the side, and then we're going to come across your body with your knees to the floor as much as you can, because they may not entirely hit the floor. And then if your knee is sort of floating, then you can just put a little bit of pressure and just relax that down. Just making sure that both shoulders are on the floor. Maneuver yourself if you need to. And just enjoy this big stretch. Lovely. Okay, just release that knee. And you're going to take a deep breath in. On the out breath, lift up. Oh, that's it. Okay, so foot down, other foot onto your knee, swapping legs. And then you're going to bring that knee across your body. Definitely make sure you're coming across rather than the other way. It's not quite the same. And then, again, rearrange your shoulder blades if you need to. Hand onto that knee. Coax it down if you need to. Nice deep breath here. Big old stretch. Oh. Okay, releasing that knee, deep breath in. And lift, 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 lift. Oh, once. Okay, bring those feet back down. Now, we're going to do a nice little pencil stretch. So bring your legs all the way out. Just keep them engaged as opposed to flopping them. And then your hands are going to come down by your side just to start with. You may just need to very slightly rearrange yourself just to make sure you're feeling flat. Now, naturally, when you are lying right on the floor like this, you will have a tiny little curve. Depending on the composition of your back, it might be a bigger curve or a smaller curve, but you're likely to feel a little curve. That's absolutely fine. But what we're going to do is use your core to lose that curve slightly. So bring your arms up, nice and tall, past and then towards your head, and we're in that really nice pencil stretch. Rearrange your shoulders if you need to, and then we're going to start some nice deep breaths. So the deep breath in will create the arch, and then the deep breath out, push the arch away, okay? Deep breath in, out through your mouth, push the arch. So your core just engage a little bit. Deep breath in, big stretch. And release, push the arch away. And one more deep breath in. Sorry, a bit noisy. And deep breath out. Lovely. Let's go for one more just because it's nice. Deep breath. And relax. Wonderful. Okay, arms up and then back down to your sides and just give yourself a little wiggle. Okay, bringing that knee in just to assist the lift. So you're going to come up nice and slowly, roll it up, roll it up, roll it up, and bring yourself nice and straight. Fantastic. Okay, spinning yourself towards me. If you need to move, then we are crossing our legs. I'm sorry, there's a little bit of noise in the background. Hopefully you can't hear that too much. So as usual, just make sure there's a little bit of a gap so you're not doing that. You've got the ability to bring your knees down if they will come down. So further work on the back a little bit. So first of all, nice deep circle round, and with your hands, I want you to just sit on them. Slightly weird, but it does push your shoulders down. So with your arms straight, it's quite likely that it naturally has to push your shoulders down. So if you're looking at me, then I want you to bring your head down, looking into your lap, and with your hands sat on, that should be quite a strong stretch. Just make sure that your knees are as relaxed as they can be. Tuck your tummy in and keep your back straight. And that should be right by your neck, right at the top of your back. And then we're going to turn to one side. And bring it back to center. Turn to the other side. Deep breath and bring it back to center. Lovely. Look up again towards the camera and relax. Oh, that's a good one. Lovely. Right, okay, just removing your hands. So nice and typical for a back stretch. We're going to come across. I want you to swing your arm all the way back and over. And then we're going to twist. Just see how you're, just make a note as to how you're feeling at the moment. And we'll try again. Deep breath in. And relax and bring it back to the center. And again, the other way. So one arm across, up and over. Beautiful. And then twist. Deep breath in. And relax, bring it back to the center again. Let's go one more time. So feel if there's a tiny bit of a difference now. Hand across, up and over. Beautiful. And twist. If you can get another millimeter out of it, just relax your knees. And bring it back, and then across, up and over, and twist. Good, and then bring it back to center. Okay, my all-time favorite is twist to the side, but we're going to actually do a variation on this, which should actually get your lats a little bit. So if your back lower down is quite tight, this is an absolutely lovely one. So one hand down onto the floor, you're going to bring one arm up nice and tall, and then we're going to lean over. So you're leaning just as we normally do over, and just make sure your arm and your head are feeling heavy. It's a tiny change. You're going to twist and look towards your hand. Now what you should feel is that's getting right round underneath your shoulder blade in effect. Bringing it back to center and roll it up. Should feel nice, this one, strong but nice. All the way up, nice and tall first. Beautiful ballerinas, everyone. Lovely. And sink it down. And then we're going to twist. That's it. Hold it there. Feel that strong stretch. Bring it back to looking at the screen and then up. So let's try that again. So if you're like, did I get that right? Let's try again. All the way up and over. Harry's had enough. joining us this evening. And then twist, it's all a bit much. It's had a hard day. And then back up. And then all the way up and over first. And then you're adding in that twist. Oh, that is a good one. Nice and strong. Back to center and lift. Nice. Okay. Right, we'll just counterbalance that by forwards and backwards. So again, stay where you are, just turn. So again, wherever you are, even if we're up here, not a problem. Hands forward, and then you're just going to roll it down. Worry a little bit less about how far out we're going this time. I just want you to drop your head. So again, even if that is definitely not an option for that low, we're just here and just drop your head wherever you are. If you can, we get our head to the floor. And wherever you are, a couple of nice deep breaths and try and relax your hips. Lovely, roll and curl yourself out. Not that I want to get you out of that one, but stay there for a while. And then bring your hands back, and then we're going to arch your back. So squeeze your shoulder blades, arch your back, try not to flop your head back. Deep breath in. And release, and let's do that again. And deep breath in, arch your back, squeeze. Open up that chest, very likely to be too tight. Oof, and release back down. Wonderful. Just some little rolls of your shoulders whilst we're here. And the other way. Right. I wanted to do a teeny tiny little bit of hip work whilst we're here, and they should be feeling a little bit. And this does get a little bit of your back as well. So we're going to come into a sort of version of a mermaid, but I don't want it quite tight in here, so you need to be relatively far out. Now, it may well mean that you can't quite get everything down, and personally, my bum's up. If I'm in, that's not so bad, but when I'm right out, I can't quite. Now, that is my hips, lack of mobility there. So, you know, we're working on it, but it just means that your hips are a bit tight if you can't quite put your bum down there. So with this one, we're going to twist and then twist, okay? So start with the easier twist. Start with the one that feels a bit more natural. And you're going to come round and just sort of look over your shoulder. So try to keep that bum down, okay? It kind of wants to lift like that, which will make it easier. Try and push it down. And that's the thing that's getting the twist in your hip and your back. Holding it here, deep breath in. And bringing it back to center. Now, the other way, please note, there's no way you're going to be able to go around as far. So if you can, you're holding on to the other leg. If you can't, you're holding on to the first one. And then we're going to twist around. Again, try to keep that down. It kind of wants to do this. If this is too strong on the knees as well, Steve, if you're watching this and this is going to struggle your knee, just bring your leg out, okay? And we're going to do that. It doesn't get your hip as much, but then it won't hurt your knee. Okay, and then just relax yourself out with that. Now this one, again, you won't be able to go too far. We're going to lean forwards. This leg should be feeling that. I can't actually go very low on this one because my hip mobility is not good enough. I'm working on it, but these things take time. So if you can, which I'm sure a couple of you could just go straight down with your chest straight onto your legs, fine, but I can't go any further than that. Everything starts to hurt. And nice and gently roll that back up. Oh, excellent. Right, just bring yourself back to center, and I would just give your legs a little wriggle on that one because that is a very strong hip movement if you have got tight hips. Okay, this one, exactly the same thing the other side. Please be aware that it's very likely that one side is going to feel very, very different. Can you already see I'm nowhere near, and this is nowhere near out of thigh. I can't go. This hip is very much worse. So try to keep yourself as upright as possible. Keep that nice and spread out as opposed to in like this. Keep it nice and spread out. Again, if it's aggravating knee, then you can untuck it, whatever that is, okay? Right. I mean, stretch, there's stretch and then there's painful. We don't want that. So again, just try and keep everything down, and then we're going to turn the easier way first. Bringing that around. Again, you're trying not to lift that hip, keep it down. Oh, it wants to come up. Chaos. And twist. Deep breath in. And then we're bringing it back to center, and then the other way. So bringing it around. Again, if you can't quite reach, we're going for the first leg. If not, you're going to try to get around to the second one. And twist. Not quite as far. Again, if it's really aggravating your knee, it's not supposed to. It's a hip movement. Deep breath in. And now the dog's getting involved. Bring it back in. When am I getting that filming studio? When is that? Okay, so now we're going to come forwards. So again, if everything's just too uncomfortable, you're literally just here. But if you can, you're going to try and bring that down without this lifting. Oh, this is going to be not even anywhere near as low as the other side. Deary me. Hip movement next week. Oh, yes. And roll it up nice and slowly. Right. Again, just lean backwards, get yourself out of that, and just give yourself a wriggle. Quite strong, that lot. Whoa. Right. Okay. So let's bring ourselves up now, but nice and gently for the last few minutes. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze again. I'm on nothing but sneezing. Oh, right. Bringing yourself onto all fours. We're going to have a little checkaroo as to how low we are now. So I'd like you to come up into the downward dog first. So tuck your toes under and come back up. And just have a look and see if we are lower down. Have we reached the floor yet? Don't know. Let's just give it a little wriggle about and just see if you can. Just make note. Okay, and then if you bring your hands to your feet, or your feet and your hands together, whichever way it is, we're coming into that forward bend. Now, just take note. Are you any lower? Do you feel any lower? You should be feeling a little bit lower. Deep breath, and one final for your back and your shoulders. Just bring your hands, tuck them in, and your elbow creases, and just you create that little square. Drop your head, and then we're just going to do some little tiny, tiny rocks to the side, left to right. Let's try and drop those shoulders, and then stop the rocks, and then just go backwards and forwards with your arms, so little tiny sort of swings. And you should feel them relax, 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 relax. Okay, just stop the swings, take a deep breath in, and relax. Okay, drop those arms. And my God, they should be longer. I'm not saying you might be able to necessarily reach the floor still, but they should feel nice and relaxed. Holding it there, deep breath in. Okay, let's roll it up nice and slowly. Please do this slowly. We've been on the floor for a while. Roll it up, roll it up. Just keep going. I'm just going to move the camera up. And then you're right up to the top. Lovely. Okay, so once you've reached the top, just do some nice little shoulder rolls and just make sure that that back is nice and straight. Good, wonderful. Okay, right. A tiny little bit of movement this way whilst we're stood up. So one arm up, hand onto your hip, And then we're going to do some little rolls. So coming over, sorry, it's feeding time at the zoo, it's not great. And then you're going to swing forwards, again, getting those hamstrings. One final hurrah for the hamstrings. And to the other side, just squeeze those glutes slightly so you're not falling forwards or backwards. And then we're going to sweep round, all the way around, and to the side, Charlie. And one more back again. Hold it here, and then forwards, one more really nice big stretch. And hold it here, squeeze those glutes and bring yourself up standing. Lovely. Okay, just give your legs a little shake out. Wonderful. Okay, so just to counterbalance the hamstrings, the poor quads, they've been doing something, but not necessarily as much. So we're just going to finish with a little tiny bit of balance, but also just counterbalancing the quads. Hamstrings should be feeling damn good now. Quads possibly need a little tiny bit more assistance. So we've got one foot, if you can, Tracy, my darling. I know you find this more difficult. So if everyone is struggling with that, then you can use the sofa. I'm doing that. Or you can use your chair, or you can use a stool, whatever that is. Or a wall, whatever's working for you. And push that hip forward, that extends it right in. I love the fact that my children love each other. Did you just hear that? My God. And the other side. Push that hip forward. Holding it upright. Using your balance. Relaxing the shoulders. And 3, 2, and 1. Relax that down. Again, just give them a little wriggle. Right, my lovelies, finishing as always. Let's just make sure everything is tip top and posture is perfect. All the way down and up. Lift and squeeze. Go for 2 more. All the way up. And lift. And 1 more. Down. Lift up. 3, 2, and 1. Release. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, and I hope to see you next week. I will turn the recording off now.